once Gary is in our possession, we're hoping that Gary can launch on the Internet his own show. And something that the audience never saw, they only heard, was Gary's offstage crew. Mm-hmm. So you'll get a chance to meet some of the wacky characters that populate Gary's No GNU show. And also we're working on a comic book, and I don't think we're going to have it done in time for Anthrocon, but sort of a story that kind of fills in the gaps from when you stopped watching the show back in the 80s to current day. And what happened to the coaster, where's Baxter, where's Goriddle, what happened to the kids, just kind of filling that in. And we're writing it in such a way that even if people have never heard of the Great Space Coaster, we are hoping they'll find it funny and humorous and that they'll want to watch the Gary GNU show on the Internet no matter what form it takes.
I think you got a
and then there's always the possibility of going to the Hub channel and seeing if they're interested in bringing it back.
That'd be awesome.
This is a really good idea because viral videos right now, as you know, they really had a huge influence on re-kickstarting the Muppet campaign. Gary is the most memorable character of the show by far. If people only knew one character from the show, that's all they're going to, even if they've never seen the show, they know Gary GNU. So if Gary were to start up some viral videos, oh my gosh, my spider senses are tingling. I think that's really a
yeah,
the
Muppets actually did some videos that went viral, and they rekindled a lot of interest in the Muppets. So that could be a good way of doing that.
I think you're onto something, sir. But Orlando also is really one of the geek capitals of the world. As far as like comic book conventions and whatnot, we have a huge puppeteering community down here. Heather Henson is here with the Orlando Puppet Festival. A lot of puppeteers go on, a lot of events. So I know if you wanted to kind of throw something our way, we would have a market to kind of encourage what your campaign is doing. So feel free to, take part of that as well. Orlando could help you out.
That would be wonderful. It's right now our big problem has been we don't have Gary, and as soon as we have Gary, I think that we can really take off with that. And then the other thing is, people were, probably at Anthrocon we'll be able to sneak some of the shows in so people can get to see them, but we just legally cannot sell them or put them out anywhere.
Right.
A little tongue-in-cheek, fun, Save Gary GNU T-shirt would go like hotcakes.
I'll buy one.
Oh my gosh! People would see that on the street and go, "Where did you get that? I want one."
We're working on it. We're working on it, guys. I'm glad to hear you say that because we've got a couple of ideas, and it's just the three of us working on this project, and we're really going on it. Can I give you my Facebook page? We have a Facebook page for the Great Space Coaster now.
Let's hear it. What is it?
It is, Facebook, and it's capital T, lowercase h-e, capital G-R-E-A-T, that's all lowercase, and then, so basically the Great Space Coaster. You got it already. There you go.
Yep, we're showing it on the
screen.
Very cool.
Good, because we can't spell.
Right.
So that was important.
And just so you know, more money just came in. You're up to $1,025 now.
Oh, thank you guys so much. And thanks to everybody who's watching and listening right now to the Puppet Show.
Well, we love Gary GNU, and you are really awesome. I hope Crystal is also doing well, your lovely wife.
Crystal and I just got through working with a high school here in Pittsburgh doing the school version of Avenue Q.
Oh, my goodness.
A school version?
Yeah.
Wow, you must have to cut the whole show out.
If you look at the Facebook page, there's some information on it. It's very interesting. What they did is the original composers and writers of Avenue Q saw that there was a great interest in the show for high schools, but because of some of the language and songs, they couldn't show it. So what they did was they rewrote some of the music. They took a couple songs out and replaced them with equally good music and story. And now the show has gone from sort of a hard R rating to a PG-13 rating.
The Internet is for math.
No, it's the Internet. My social life is online. So Trekkie Monster is more focused on Facebooking and more as a soft thing for high school students rather than going to the to the darker side of puppetry.
Very cool.
No one replies to my posts. Okay.
See, our show is the darker side of the puppetry internet.
Well, we're in the middle somewhere. There's worse.
Avenue Q, the school edition, still has, It Sucks to Be Me and If I Were Gay and all of those songs. I think just the porn song was taken out. And My Girlfriend Who Lives in Canada was taken out.
Okay.
And I think the hardcore sex part of it is there's a lot of making out and necking. I think you'll see on the Facebook page, there's a picture of some kids, the underclassmen one night had taken some of the M&Ms and made an Avenue Q, and then the choreographer was so in love with puppets that she made her own puppet in one of our puppet classes that we did at the school. So her puppet destroyed the Avenue Q. We just had a really good time. Working with high school students was a blast. These guys were really good.
There's already a clean version of Avenue Q. It's called Sesame Street.
Yeah, that's about it. And you know, the Great Space Coaster, going back to the Great Space Coaster, it probably had all of the elements of Sesame Street as far as story, animation, music, puppets, live actors. It was just a little bit more raucous, I think.
Well, we're really glad you could. Thanks so much.
So the X-rated version of Space Coaster would be the Great Pimp Limo. Maybe there's $1 in there somewhere. So, anyways.
But
hey, can I ask you guys a question?
You can ask us anything you want, Jim.
Were you guys back in Pittsburgh? I heard that Anthrocon is trying to save Fernando's. Is that true?
We did.
We did. Yeah, basically,
you guys did it?
Basically, what happened was
that was easy.
Fernando indicated that he needed roughly, I think, $4,000
to stay open through the event.
Through the event. And the membership plus the furry community worldwide and all our friends ended up sending him a grand total of over $21,000.
It was about closer to $25,000.
It was about $23,000 something.
You see, one thing that people have learned, Jim, is just like a mother tiger and her cubs, don't get in between a furry and food.
So yeah, Fernando received the checks and got the money to him, and he's going to be open through the event, and we're going to see just how long after that, because we were working to help him try and reduce some of that debt load.
Yeah, the furry community has definitely shown their generosity and proven it in solid gold concrete. So, hey, maybe, you can inspire them as well.
You're halfway there to your goal, and like I said, our viewership is helping you through that, and we're going to see if we can get you all the way there.
Well, you guys, all of the furry community has been so good to Pittsburgh, and you've given Pittsburghers so much fun.
I love Pittsburghers.
If he didn't say it, I would.
He said I love Pittsburghers with cheese. I'm sorry, I'll shut up. Continue. I just derailed the guy.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'll shut up forever.
Well, Jim, we're just doing. I don't know if you can see the screen. You're at $1,100 now.
Whoop.
That's wonderful. I feel like we're on a PBS pledge break. This is terrific.
Okay, we'll keep you on the line until
we go back to your show.
But the other character, and I think you did you do Empty Promises and Edison as well?
On the show initially, I was brought on to do Gary Gnu and the villain Empty Promises, and then in later series, I did a character called Baffle, which is sort of a little green character with gumdrops on his head, and he was a crazy wizardy character. And then John Lovelady, who performed Edison, left the show to go and work on a CBS series, and then I took over the role of Edison, I think, in the last 2 or 3 seasons.
Yeah.
The craziness is, it's been 30 years, so I don't even remember half of the shows. And I had videotaped them when they aired, but I had a huge flood a number of years ago and lost all of my videotapes.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, we sit here and we have all of the Great Space Coaster tapes stored in a warehouse that the Toonseum uses, and we're looking at them going, who's on these tapes? What's on them? So this will be the good thing. Once we start digitizing these tapes, then at least we can create a log that will show what the shows had on them and who was on them and that. And then we're hoping to maybe even contact some of the celebrities and see if they would be willing to, kick in some money to help us preserve maybe the episode that they were on. Because it's actually, Crystal's here with me, it's about, $350 per hour?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's $350 an hour to do the quad tapes.
Yeek.
Yeah.
It's the machines that play these things were like the size of maybe 3 kitchen stoves. That's how big the tape recording, the tape machine is.
Yikes.
Yeah,
Everything's gotten a lot smaller.
It's a shame that in the 80s they were playing around with digital video or videotape, and it was easier back in the 60s and 70s when everything was on film, because film lasted a lot longer, and film transferred to video or digitized a lot easier than those old 80s stuff. So they're actually finding now that all the stuff that they recorded in the 50s and 60s that were on film translate to HD better than all the stuff that was videotaped through the 80s.
You're absolutely right. And I don't know about you guys, but I am really lamenting the death of film.
Yeah.
So was Kodak.
So, Jim,
Yeah.
as a quick memory jog, do you remember an episode? There are only a couple episodes I remember vividly. There was
Remember
one
the time.
But do you remember an episode where Edison and Goriddle are in a songwriting contest, and Edison eventually ended up singing a song called "I'm Singing a New Song"?
No.
That was actually one of the only ones that I really remember. I know that I know that Gary was not part of that, but
By the way, there, Jim,
that was one of my favorite episodes.
Yes.
you are currently up to 1,100.
Yes.
Rock on. Dude, we're going to continue to spread the word.
Thank you so much.
With Ezra's help, you're going to have a full spotlight in the furry community. I'm going to do my best to get you spotlighted in the Orlando puppet community and the Orlando comic book community. So we're going to just continue to spread it out as far as we can to be right behind you.
Thank you. Well, all of you pop heads are absolutely right. It doesn't have to be a lot. Just $5, it really goes a long way to help us, get the hard drives, start getting these tapes digitized. We do need to raise about $40,000, but we want to try to start with the oldest tapes first, which are the 2-inch quad tapes, and start, saving those. The first season was about 80 shows, 80 half hours, and they're all on the 2-inch. Once it gets into the second and third, in the middle of the second season, it went to 1-inch open reel. So they're a bit cheaper to have digitized. So everything that you guys are doing for us is just terrific. We really appreciate it.
Okay, good. And then once we're done with you, we're going to shoot for Muppets Tonight.
No, we need to hurry up and have them get seasons 4 and 5.
Muppets Tonight. We got to get
Muppet
that on
Show.
DVD next, after Great Space Coaster. Then Muppets Tonight.
Now, who owns Muppets Tonight?
I think it's Disney Channel.
Kermit.
See that? It's so confusing to me because who owns? What does Henson still own? What does Disney still own?
Yeah, anything Muppet
Sesame
brand.
Street owns all of the Sesame Street characters.
Yeah.
But I'm still a little unclear as to what the Henson Company still maintained rights to. I know it's Fraggle Rock and Labyrinth, Dark Crystal.
Right. Anything with the Muppet brand name on it, Disney owns. However, Henson still creatively controls. Basically, the money just goes into the Disney wallet, and Henson still controls the creative. With Steve Whitmire and everybody behind the Muppet brand. Bear in the Big Blue House, which started out as Jim Henson and was purchased by Disney, now that money goes into the Disney wallet.